pledge. Thank you for coming. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Just a couple of things, announcements. We want to say congratulations to Krista Briggs. She's the director of our library. She received a really nice award of excellence in service. I don't know if you saw it online, all over, etc. But nice job, Krista.
Thank you.
It's always good. Yes. Always looking for the positives about our community and our people working here. It's great. And by the way, if you haven't been to the art show, I always like the art shows. They have a combination of acrylics, oils, pastels. They have mixed media over there. You even have photography, and you really need to get over there sometime this week to see the largest variety I've seen in a while of artwork done by people from our community and abroad here. So get over there this week at the library, please. Okay, let's go to standard items. Approval of April 16th minutes. Motions, please.
Motion.
Pat, second.
I'll second that.
Second by Ray, all in favor? Okay. Resolutions. Authorize the town supervisor to sign the contract with Zolfus Phone Communication Systems for the new phones for the town hall, library, and museum.
Motion.
Pat, and second.
I'll second.
Christie, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Authorize the town supervisor to sign a 5-year contract with the development of the North Country GIS web-based hosting services agreement. All the time.
I'll make that motion.
Ray, and a second.
I'll second.
Christie, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorize the town council to approve the appointment of Brittany Rushlow to the Massena Board of Ethics for a 4-year term. Should be the 5th member added to that group.
Motion.
Pat, and a second.
I'll second it.
Ray, all in favor? Okay. Authorize the town council to revoke the authorization of deputy town clerk as an authorized co-signer. We currently have too many signers on it, so we still have a deputy clerk as well as our town clerk have the signatures on there. So just remove that third one. Motion?
Motion.
Pat, and a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Christie, all in favor? Good. Authorize the town council to approve the recommendation from CNS companies to award the bid for replace 2012 snow removal equipment truck, plow blade, and material spreader to Allegiance Truck at Central New York LLC.
I'll make that motion.
Ray, and a second.
I'll second.
Christie, all in favor? Okay. Authorize the supervisor to sign the final grant application to replace the 2012 chassis, plow blades, material spreader for the airport. Pat, second.
I'll second that.
Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the supervisor to sign the contract with Bonfire, a tribute to Rocking the River, that big event we're having in August. What's the date again? August 9th?
August 16th.
16th. Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you, Jason. Okay, August 16th. And motions, please.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Ray, in a second.
Second.
Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorize the supervisor to sign the new 2-year contract with H3 Designs.
Motion.
Pat, in a second.
I'll second that.
Ray, all in favor? Authorize the supervisor to sign the grant agreement for the rehabilitate terminal building roof construction.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Ray, and a second.
Second.
Okay, Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the superintendent, highway superintendent, to sign the Stark Tech Services contract for highway vehicle maintenance.
Motion.
Okay, that's by Pat,
Second.
second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorize the supervisor to sign the Civic Plus quote for DNS hosting.
Motion.
Okay.
I'll
Pat, a
second.
second. Ray, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, these are all pretty standard. Going to transfers and amendments. Brenda? No. Oh, who did the audit for this month?
We did. Christina.
Wait, okay, so therefore, the two of you,
Motion.
okay, Pat makes
For
the
the
motion,
transfers.
I second it.
and Christie seconds it, and Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now the warrants.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Christie made the first one,
more than May of '24. Now, the expenses as of today for 2025 are $3,726,066. Our expenses last year, 2024, were $2,971,674. So our 2025 expenses are $754,392 more than May of 2024.
Okay, so everything seems to be more and more, okay. Anybody have any questions for Brenda? Okay, let's go to committee reports, please. Highway and airport, Dylan?
For the highway department, we've installed 3 new driveway pipes. We walked all 37 miles of town roads and picked up just over 2,000 pounds of garbage. We completed our annual spring cleanup. We had 72 loads brought up to the transfer station. We swept the museum parking lot and have mowed cemeteries 4 times. For equipment repairs, we serviced all the plow trucks so they are ready for the summer season. For the airport, for April, Boutique's numbers were 410 in plane, 432 deplane for 842 total. There was 177 landings and 3 canceled flights due to weather. Construction has continued on the sand storage facility. We completed our Part 139 FAA inspection, and we have started mowing and summer work. For the library, museum, and town hall, there are no new issues.
Okay, as far as the 72 loads to the transfer station, because you started this year with vouchers, which is different than last year.
Yes.
So was that more or less?
We're right about the same. I think it was 4 or 5 more loads this year than last year, but
Okay.
not a significant increase.
But it worked out fine that time?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Okay, joint recreation.
So they met on May 13th, and they had a Massena figure skating spring school, which went very well. They had quite a few kids who attended and who tested and did well on their testing. Their last week of ice was April 28th through May 4th, so now that's done. They also have started lacrosse. They had quite a nice turnout for sign-up, so they've got lacrosse going. And soccer registration will be happening at the end of May. They did their Ted Caught Free Fishing Day on May 12th. There were 38 kids who attended. There were raffles and prizes and all of that, and that did very well. The beach is now currently open. It'll be open every single day, depending on weather, from now until Labor Day, and there's free individual parking for individual cars. And they are opening signups for their summer therapeutic recreation program, and they're looking for a director.
And where's that going to be? The therapeutic one?
I don't remember what they said. I will find out.
Okay, and who writes the minutes? I get the minutes in my desk each month, but who writes the minutes? Is it the president or is it somebody else in that board?
I can see his face. I can't tell you his name.
Could you find out? Let me
I
know.
will.
Okay, because there are a couple of things that need to be amended.
There's what?
A couple of typos, I'll just say typos for now,
Names.
Hold on.
and something else. Yeah, just wondering.
Okay.
All right, good. Okay, the liaisons were not able to attend the library meeting, so I went to the meeting, and I want to note again that Krista Birch received the Award for Excellence by the Northern New York Library System. That's very important for all of us. In addition to the regular agenda, 2 policies were approved: the confidentiality of library records policy and the security camera and recordings policy. I did provide a handout on fundraising basics. I have for my own Rotary, that kind of thing, to talk about donor stewardship since they're continuing their campaigns for fundraisers. I asked about the roof and the boiler system, so President Joseph sent me the next day, which is good information, which the council should be aware as far as the age of the roof, etc. Okay? We need to talk about that. Memory Cafe has had 2 sessions, and I gave some information on connecting possibly with other professionals, and we'll ask Krista later for more information. Their next meeting is June 10th at 4:15. Okay? All right, museum.
We met on the 3rd from 4:30 to 4:50. We approved the minutes, and we had 1 session, 0 dia sessions, 52 website hits, 24 visitors. They finalized pictures and documents requested by Massena Electric, completed the annual reports for the town. They worked on dia session articles from the storage building, cleaned out display at the airport, and creating a museum brochure. And our next meeting will be June 5th at 4:30.
So they ended up finishing the displays at the airport?
No, that's ongoing.
Oh,
Waiting for more articles to come in. Some purveyors are printing things up, and
okay, so what's the anticipated timeline for that?
it's gonna be ongoing, because in the fall, we'll have to change some of the things out, some of the restaurants, some of the hotels and
So
this and that.
nothing's changed so far? So
Pardon?
it's still the same right now then?
No, there's been some additions to that.
Oh, there have?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right.
Plus, the museum will be going back out, tidying up their showcase.
Okay, good, all right. Chamber of Commerce. The St. Lawrence County Chamber had their annual member breakfast April 15th. There was another meeting for the interested Massena Chamber ambassadors on May 14th last week. Discussion ensued relative to community engagement, advertising, and celebrations locally. Business after hours will be May 27th at the grist mill. If any of you can make it, please do. I have a supervisors county meeting in Canton at the same time, otherwise I'd be there. But if any of the rest of you can be there, I think that'd be, good. It's right here in Massena, come on. The annual tourism dinner at the Freight House on June 4th. The 61st annual Dairy Festival Days take place in Canton on June 6th and 7th. The 21st annual barbecue is June 21st at Fort La Presentation in Ogdensburg, where there will also be several vendors along with the 10th Mountain Division Band. Massena Townwide garage sales are scheduled for June 28th and 29th, so make sure you check out the interactive map on the events page. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ben, since you're the executive director for the county is here for the chamber, so please, Ben, please feel free to.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Sue, and wish you could join us at the
know.
business after hours, which we're having at the grist mill, as Sue said, that's next Tuesday, 5 to 7 there. It's a great opportunity to get in and network with other community leaders and business owners and everything, and, have some of their, sample some of their fine brews and so forth. So I encourage you to come to that. As Sue mentioned, we got the garage sales coming up, and we have like an online map on the event page for that, that you can go in a map version, see where all the yard sales are happening. So that'll be fun. That's June 28th and 29th. I do have, Sue also mentioned the tourism dinner happening on June 4th. And that's happening at the Freight House in Ogdensburg, and you are about to be the first to find out who our awardees are, as it was decided today. I will note we've got some past awardees of the Tourism Marketing Initiative Award in the room here, but this year it's going to the Seaway Visitor Center, the Tourism Destination Marketing Award. Been a great partner this year, and they brought in 37,000 visitors since they started, from all 50 states and more than 30 countries. So it's really been quite the asset for Massena and the county, and we're excited to recognize them at the tourism dinner. So we'll also be giving our Best to the Guest award to the Best Western University. So definitely encourage you to come to that. The other another great element of the tourism dinner this year will be Speaker Josiah Brown, who's called the Sherpa of New York, who's going to be speaking to this concept of resident first tourism at home, which is the approach we're really pursuing for sustainable tourism development in the county. So definitely encourage you to come to that and cheer on Amy in the visitor center at the tourism dinner. On other fronts, our building remains for sale, and we're searching for some temporary office space. That search continues. Sue did mention that we are now having monthly meetings of the Massena ambassadors, which is kind of our, the boots on the ground, volunteers, interested parties. I feel like we're getting a lot of traction there with them, and that I think is a big turning point for us in Massena to have that group of engaged citizens us, and it's a great group of people, so anybody who's interested in participating in that, it's an open group. Pleased to announce that Chimera Integrations has joined the leadership circle of the county chamber, and they're looking to get into Massena, so it's a firm that's expanding quickly, and that's going to be a wonderful addition. Also pleased to note that North Country Co-location Services has joined our leadership circle. So a couple of Massena entities there that are getting behind us. We also have had in the last month 2 new members join the chamber from Massena, one being Hardy's Kitchen and Bake Company and the Massena International Campground. So we're excited to welcome new members. Ray, I'll note I do have some stuff for you for your display at the airport. We just put out a whole new suite of wrap cards for various things to do in the county that'll be a nice addition at the airport. So we'll get that to you next week when they come off the printers.
Very good.
So, and then I was very pleased to hear that the library, Ms. Briggs got recognized with that. We've got a really wonderful partnership going with the library. Laura has been operating out of the library's Business Resource Center. They've been great to us. We're helping them out. They had some wonderful events at the library as part of the Massena Spring Fest, our first foray into that. And they had, I think, 5 events there that we were able to broadcast. And with that Massena Spring Fest, we also broadcast a scavenger hunt for the Massena Rotary Club and a exhibit from the National Aluminum Producers Heritage Association at the museum. So that's fun, and the ambassadors have been talking about ideas for a big Massena Spring Fever Festival in next year that will have the play and the pancake breakfast and stuff as ways to highlight that festival. So some good stuff there. Last but not least, just a few other things. I'm pleased to announce that we graduated 11 more leaders from the St. Lawrence Leadership Institute last week, which is exciting, and we just turned the corner to recruiting for next year's class, so that's great. We held a big business mixer at the Best Western, had close to 100 people attend there as a way to connect business owners with entities that provide business support services.
I really enjoy that, because the Department of Labor is always there.
Yes,
And
yeah,
the Department of
Mr.
Labor
Flynn is
really
always
done
there.
well at advertising for like our historic position and a couple other positions that we had for the last year. They did the advertising for us for free, and they got it out there, and it's good, it's great.
Yeah, it was a great event, so a lot of really good connections were made at that. So that was good. I attended the Small Communities, Big Opportunities Conference in Lake Placid, moderated some sessions in connection with our role with the Center for Businesses in Transition, where we try to help business owners who are looking to transition ownership of their business to new parties. So I attended that, and Laura went down to a table at the Fort Drum Career Day at Fort Drum as part of our efforts to try to recruit transitioning soldiers from Fort Drum to our area. So lots of stuff going on. I feel like we're really getting some good traction and momentum here in Massena, and a lot of activity that lined up for coming down the road here.
We'll be all anxious to find out when the building is sold, so you can get it into a spot where Main Street and
Absolutely.
show them
Yeah,
you're here.
absolutely.
Yes.
So if anyone wants to buy a building, please come see me. So that's all for today, Sue.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ben. Code officers, Pat and Brian here?
Yep.
Oh, good. Good, Pat.
So just a couple things. We've been interacting with the State Office of Cannabis Management, and when I say interacting, I mean waiting 4 months for an email reply. There's an issue with a billboard down near the Holy Name of Jesus Academy that they brought to our attention. They seem to have been under the belief that the setback distance from a school is 1,000 feet, and while that was proposed, it was never actually, it's never taken effect. It's still actually 500 feet. They finally did reach out, back out to us, OCM, and they're telling us there's no clear definition of where to measure from and to. They're telling us billboard to building, not billboard to property line. So if you go billboard to property line, it's over 600 feet. So regardless of what it is, it's also not town code or uniform code of the state. So there's nothing that I can do about it. So I've referred them to some other people to talk to that maybe they can pursue it through there, but we're gonna close that one out because it isn't a violation of code. A lot of the same issues. A new one popped up at the mall. It was a single, 1 or 2 light complaints. So we received complaints that the mall lighting was ineffective for safety. What's that?
Too bright?
Now they're saying too bright. So there wasn't enough light, now there's too much light. So again, similar situation. We mentioned nuisance light in the code, as does the state, but there's really no definition. So I've got a Klein light meter that I can take out there, and I can tell you exactly how many candle light powers from any point, but there's nothing to reference to, so it doesn't do me any good. So what we've done is we've reached out to the mall. I talked with them, and I think because we're helping them work through some other code issues, they were really receptive to having their contractor come back and angle some of those lights down, so we can kind of address it a little bit. But we have a new property that's popped up on the radar in North Racket Road after 6 different complaints. Apparently a tenant abandoned it with the yard full of garbage. And then as I was doing the inspection of that property, I also discovered that their septic system is literally just a PVC pipe coming out of the basement into the ground. Not even out into the ground, on top of the ground. So we're addressing that currently. Couple issues we have. The biggest is figuring out who owns it and whether the records we have and the county has are up to date. And then once we figure out who owns it, is actually finding them, because address information is pretty sketchy.
You said that's the North Racket?
Yeah, North Racket, right down towards the end. And I think that is it, aside from the fact that when I do write my book about this job, it's going to be called Disliking Your Neighbor is Not a Violation of the Uniform Code.
It'll probably be a bestseller. Yeah. Okay, town planning and zoning.
There was no meeting last month, and there's no meeting planned for this month. Information has not filtered in yet, so we'll wait till next month.
Okay, how about this in electric?
We both attended Massena Electric.
Yeah.
You were there, right? Yeah. So, safety issues associated, Christie, is there anything you'd like to cover first?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll chime in if I.
All right, it's been very good in regards to safety. We continue to not have any issues associated with safety. The biggest issues we ever have is pretty much when a bird flies in or a squirrel gets zapped, and that's when the power goes off. There wasn't a lot of issues this month. Customer impact charts are reviewed. Reliability is reviewed, and everything has been very good. Work scheduling, replacing poles, and that's a normal process. It's ongoing on schedule planning. Write-offs, about $4,400, 15 accounts that I've written off. That is a small percentage actually of the total revenues, and it just continues to be reasonable. People pay their bill here, so their MED in our area. Power consumption graphs continues to be the same kind of issue. Although power reduction is, and we hadn't had to buy as much power this last time as we have in the past, so that ended up even better again this month. So we're back to normal in regards to your electric bills. They should be coming back down some. Still a lot cheaper than using I don't call them National Grid. Staffing is going okay. They did have a retiree and replacement. So summer interns, they were having residents who apply for that job, and tomorrow we'll actually get final approval for the summer interns. Nothing new in regards cybersecurity, continue to cut down the trees, and that need to be cut down, the ash trees that interfere with power lines. And NYSERDA project, 6 weeks to 12 months. Legal issues there, got anything out there?
No. Remain out of trouble.
Okay, anything else, Kristen?
No, that was it, I think.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you. Going over to Dan Meisner, Jason Hendricks next.
So another busy month as we head into our summer season. I think eventually we'll solidify into eventually here. Whether it wants to remain consistent would be nice. I helped Sean. Sean had some updates to the website. Helped him a few times this month. What we started to do was, or Sean actually says, any chance you could record a little video? So what we're trying to do now is when these issues come up, I'm gonna do a little tutorial video, record it so they have a reference point, because they're not doing the task every day. So it's just easier if they have a reference point to check back to. That's on the government website. On the Fish Massena side, open registration for the big basketball out. We've gotten, I think, 10 entries so far.
When is that one going to be?
So on top of that,
August 2nd.
is that what it is? Yeah, August 2nd, 3rd. Yeah, there it was. And then I printed a fishing schedule poster as well as a Rock in the River promotional poster. Took some copies out to the airport, put them out there. We have some here in the kiosk as well. And then I also created a promotional video for Dylan to circulate on the TV that has all of the fishing dates and tournaments along with Rocking the River and Fall Fest. So any visitors that come to the airport will be on display there as well.
And those things you can talk about in the radio next Wednesday morning for us? Okay.
Absolutely.
Good, thank you.
And then, continue to use social media to post events, anything we got coming up. We opened up vendor registration form for Rocking the River. We're accepting those until June 30th. If they go to exploremessena.com events, you'll find the vendor form they can sign up, along with food and beverage vendors. So planning's underway, and now we can announce that, now that it's official, we'll have Bonfire and ACDC tribute band live at the beach Saturday, August 16th, from 3 to 9, time subject to change. Because we got, we're flirting with a couple ideas as well. We may extend the hours a little bit. And then after that, it's pretty much what I got, just the regular stuff, maintaining listings. Levin's got a hold of us. We added 4 listings for them, for their boat rentals that they're doing out there. Added them to the Explore Massena website, remove some outdated ones. So make sure everything stays up to date and fresh, so when people go to research this information, it's accurate.
Good, thank you very much. Good. Okay, now over to Dan Meisner.
We're really in a busy season right now. We've got just a little over a month before our first big tournament comes here, and that's taking all our work, because every day we're talking with tournament leaders and making sure that all the permits are in place and so forth. We've been in touch with the folks at the Power Authority, because every one of these tournaments that we have here, there has to be a permit agreement from the Power Authority for that time at the intake. And Seth Bell got back to us with I think all the information that we need to fill out for each one of these tournaments. But there's so much work that goes into putting each one of these tournaments on. And the one thing I wanted to say, based on some of the things that have been talked about so far, I think that what Ray is putting together out there at the airport is a huge showcase for what we're doing here in Massena. This first thing those people see when they enter Massena by coming in by plane is what this display will be, and I think it's a fabulous idea, and we're working closely to try to get our best foot forward out there. One of the things that I did want to discuss is what we talked about last month, that we've been putting together now for several months, is this concert that's coming to Springs Park. That's why James and Lisa have come here tonight. They wanted to explain more of their role in putting us all together. But to me, this is one of the best things that we're doing, to have a concert of this type, non-denominational, religious group from the Anglers that we had here last year. They're coming back. The band is 814, and they're really, really good. And I think this is
Excellent band.
yeah, I think this is something that is really going to be a great thing for Massena, for people to associate Massena with what this
What's
is
the
going
date for
on.
that one?
Pardon?
Date?
July 26th.
July 26th. Okay.
The other thing I did want to speak about that I think is really important to note is that now we have businesses coming to us and wanting to be part of what we're doing. Jason spoke of Blevins, and what John Blevins is doing is absolutely incredible, I think, because one of the biggest questions people ask us at the sports shows, are there boats for rent? Can we get, this type of thing? And the fact that he is going to have pontoon boats for rent, this is the best thing I think we could be able to offer people that are coming here from another area with their family. Something that's big enough to get them to be able to explore the St. Lawrence River, I think is fabulous. He's also put together now, I talked about this once before, a year or so ago, that this company had contacted the town of Massena about putting a kayak kiosk here in Massena. And the one thing that we don't really have is a way for the people to fish these tributaries that we have here, which is a big part of our presentation in the winter. And now John Blevins is getting this kiosk, and he's going to have kayaks available to people. When they come in at the airport, this whole thing should be available there for them to see what they can do. So this is a really big deal, I think, the fact that we've got one of our businessmen that's come to us and is doing this now because the reaction that he's had in the past from these tournaments coming here. And we have Blevins, and we have wellness, what's the name? Yeah, that want to be part of our Big Bass Blowout. And that's what made it possible last year for us to make that profitable for the town of Massena. And I think it's a great step forward. So that's basically what's going on now. We have this, all the tournaments begin in July, and July is going to be really busy. The one other thing that came to mind as I've been sitting here and listening to other people talk is that one of the things we've done in the past, and I'd really like to do it again, maybe next year as we go forward, is a kids tournament, fishing tournament like we did a few years ago. Other organizations have tried to do something like this. Last year, with the Bass Pro Tour, when they came here, they had a fishing tournament for kids right down at the intake. But honestly, I think the town of Massena could really do an incredible thing for kids, and I think it's the most important thing we can do is bringing the outdoors to kids, but also when you do something nice for the kids, what you're doing is reaching every family in the area that, it's I think the best thing we can do for the families. So that's something I'd really like to look forward to and sort of plan for next year. Anyway, that's pretty much it for now. Oh, and I did want to say that James and Lisa came here to be able to explain what they're doing in support of this concert that's happening at Springs Park.
We'll come back to it in public session. Okay? All right, thank you. Linda?
Okay, when I published my report, sent it to the board, I mentioned that I had done research for the town highway garage because that's what we're focused on right now. And so right after that report was sent out, I learned that the next round 15 of the consolidated funding application process has opened with a deadline of July 31st at 4 p.m. They will have a series of 10 different workshops throughout the state of New York. The one for the North Country will be held in Lake Placid, and that will be held May 28th. I also want to mention that one of the things they're offering is a one-on-one conversation with communities that have why did our last 2 rounds of applications for tournaments not be funded? I suspect that it was because we still had outstanding work that we were doing for the 2 prior grants that we received and we were working on. I suspect that if I ask that question when I go to the workshop, they'll probably tell me that, but it would be good to have a conversation with them. And Steve Hunt will be there, he's my contact person, so I will be speaking to him. So, in addition to the in-person meetings, the conferences around the state, there will also be webinars that will be held for specific agencies within the state of New York. So a lot of different opportunities for people to find out more about the process. If they have questions about specific projects, they can ask them.
Okay. Let's first go to Krista for the library.
Thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to give you some of the statistics from, oh my goodness, September, that's wishful thinking. From April, we had a total of 97 programs for the month of April with a total of 1,259 participants. Massena community has read 4,381 books over the course of April and visited the library 5,636 times. I learned this week that another one of our grant applications was successful. Our Growing Community Health Project will be funded by the Northern New York Library Network's Action Grant at $3,200. That brings the total of our grant acquisitions for this year to $15,736 so far. Some programs coming up that I thought might be of interest to everyone. We have our End of Life series, How to Write a Great Obituary, tonight at 6 p.m. I highly recommend this. This is a fantastic program. I say it every time I get up and talk about these programs, but I'm going to say it again. This is information you're going to need, we're all going to need eventually. And I will add that the last in that series will be happening on the 28th, so next Wednesday at 6 p.m., and that is funeral planning with Flint Funeral Home. And then I'm going to put a plug in, remember the library in your will. That's how we save some tax dollars, honestly. It makes us less dependent on tax dollars if we are remembered in your will. Healthy eating on a budget continues. We're doing veggie quesadillas with cilantro yogurt dip on the 28th at 5:30. That's in partnership with Cornell Cooperative Extension. We have the Memory Cafe continues. It's blossoming, and it makes me smile so much to see it. We had new people again this week, and it's just so great to see people who have been isolated by their circumstances be able to come out and engage in activities together in an understanding environment. I'm in talks with the Alzheimer's Association to get a presenter up to talk to the group. Many in the group would like some tips on caregiving. We have Senior Art for Art's Sake on June 9th at 11 o'clock. That's with Chris Roselle. There is a $25 fee that covers all materials for that. On that same day, we are doing our Narcan training again at 2 p.m. We have acrylic pour torched canvas art class on June 11th at 6 p.m. That's $38, all materials included. That is ages 10 and up, and that's Chris Roselle again. And then on the 20th, we are having BOCES in for a job fair at 10 o'clock. We don't have the list of organizations that are participating yet, but they're building it and it's getting strong, and we're pretty excited to host them. So the program that the grant I just announced was for is our Garden to Table Youth program, which begins tomorrow. That is also in partnership with Cornell Cooperative Extension, their Master Gardeners program. Emma Sabin is coming as a facilitator, and basically what it is children will be invited to learn about the different vegetables they can plant. They will then plant them in our learning garden. They will tend them throughout the summer, and then in September they will harvest them, and using our Charlie cart, learn how to cook a meal with them. I kind of have been reading that food independence and healthy eating are really important to people these days, and they're looking for a lot of information on it, so this felt like a really good way to kind of start young and build up that food independence. And I listening to Dawn talk about a kids fishing tournament, I gotta tell you, Dawn, I would love to partner with you on that, because I'm trying to come up with funding to get fishing equipment and camping equipment in the library to be checked out among our library of things. We are adding to it slowly, but it's something that I think would really enhance the experience for some people in the Massena community. And our community survey is live and going on. We are looking for, even if you don't use the library, which you're absolutely missing out if you don't, but even if you don't use the library, please check out our website, check out our Facebook page, hop on and take our survey, because we're just trying to get a grasp of what we can do for the community, what we can do for organizations in the community. We want to know how we can help you. So if you can take the time, it's about 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and tell us how we can help.
That one person I tried to have you connect with for mental health, did you get through to her at all?
I haven't gotten through to her, but I did follow through on I think it was the Alzheimer's Association that you pointed me to as well, and that's where I've started, but she's on my list.
Yeah, she'd be a really good speaker, or know of someone else to send here. That's
Yes.
what she does. So.
Yes, and she's going to be really important, because you suggested her during the conversation for the Memory Cafe,
Yeah.
but mental health issues they expand past that, and if she can help us bring some awareness, some education on mental health issues that are affecting the Massena community, then that would be absolutely invaluable. So,
Great.
thank you.
Very much, Kristen. Now over to, your names are Lisa?
James and Lisa.
James and Lisa.
Carlo.
Yeah, please, let us know.
We're from Ignite Ministry. We're co-founders of it. It's a ministry that we've had going on for about 10 years. And basically what we do is we kind of go into a community, and it's hard when a lot of churches, they have small congregations, so they really can't reach out and do community outreach. So they can, but just not on a big scheme of different things. So what we've done is we've actually gone out into communities and gone across denominational things and just brought everybody together for one common purpose and everything, and that's to bring the love of God to the community. And basically find people who either are searching or just kind of lost their way, and kind of connect them to different churches so that they can have another church family to help them. You know, you come across people who are like single parents, or just depressed or sick or lonely, or just plain lost. And if they're just left alone and isolated, they just deteriorate. And now we can go into ministries as far as like people who are elderly and they're just shut in. There's nursing homes, there's lots of different things that people can put their hands to. But when they just feel like there's only one or two, it's hard to make any type of impact. So that's a lot of it, is just to actually create these events. So with that being said, James and I went out to see last year to the event that would happen with the 814 band, and there wasn't a lot of publicity on it, and we were like, oh, this would be great, because when we moved up here almost 6 years ago, we kept thinking Massena is beautiful. I mean, the people here are just wonderful. I've nicknamed it and coined it my Hallmark town, because I just fell in love with it, and I've lived from everywhere from Detroit to Colorado to New Hampshire, So I've gone a lot of different places, and this really is a gem that's hidden. And it really needs to be polished and shine so that the world can really come up and enjoy a piece of it.
So what kind of publications or PR have you done that you
Pardon?
make, what kind of PR connections have you done either to connect with the chamber or with Jason for our website or?
So as far as coming up and doing anything, this will be our first event to actually put hands to ground. We came up here right during the time that COVID just began to hit. So everything kind of shut down. So now that things are all starting to open up, we started to get out and do different things. So, so this will be our first event as Lake Night Ministry, coming out and doing different things. But we've been involved, in Pennsylvania, we put on church camp, or kids camps, Kids Connections week long, where we host about anywhere between 400 to 600 kids that come into these events. And we have anywhere from 13 to 15 from the Catholics to Church of Christ, Brethren churches, all together, and they work collectively. And it's really nice to be, to see that kind of involvement. We're doing one in New Hampshire now, that same kind of a setup. We've done teen camps and different things like that too, where we get a whole bunch of people together. And you can just make a greater impact when you have more churches together.
Yours gonna be July 26th?
July 26th, yeah. We're planning to do it down at Massena Springs, just because it'll be a little bit closer where people can walk to it if they want to. It's got the nice bandstand, or I guess gazebo, whatever that's there.
There's a little stage.
It also has a really nice children's playground. So this is going to be more of a family event. I'm trying to get food trucks to come in so that, people can have, something to eat while they're there. I'm trying to get an ice cream truck to come in. We're hoping to give away raffles, fishing equipment, to kind of go with the whole, Dave LaFever is planning on getting some of the anglers that'll be fishing that day to come and speak too with their message quote. So, should be a really nice time.
All right, thank you
And
very
hopefully a lot more attending than last year, so.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that I missed here? No? Oh, well, did you have anything to say? No? Ben, back to you?
Sue, I just wanted to give a follow-up. I had mentioned a few events that we've got, quite a few events that we've got coming up. And to get more information on any of those or register or whatever, you can just go to visitstlc.com and click on our events calendar. And that's where you can get to all those events.
Good, okay. Thank you very much. At this time, we need to have a motion to go into executive session for purposes of discussions related to proposed pending and current litigation, medical, financial, credit, or employment history of particular person or corporation, or relating to appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or renewal, and then, of course, acquisition, lease, or sale of real property or securities for publicity with substantial